For those of you who missed the title of this video, or you just can't read like me in my last video, I graduated college, baby. I fucking hate these things. They suck. This is a major life event for me, and it's been a long time coming, so I just want to take a few minutes to talk about it. Before I get into it, sorry for the shitty fucking setup I got going on here. The lighting's bad, and everything looks all messy. I'm actually moving soon, so there isn't much I can do about it now, which is part of the reason why I said a few videos ago that I'd be going faceless for a little bit. I also just want to get better equipment to make my setup look nicer, and in a new space, I bet it's going to look amazing. So until then, this is just a one-off video. The rest are mostly going to be just me talking, and you're going to see gameplay and other edits and shit like that. One more thing, thank you so much for all the support that I received on my most recent video. It's still shocking me as I'm recording this right now. I really don't know what happened. The first 2 days, the video kind of flopped. It wasn't really getting much traction. All of a sudden, overnight, it just blew up. At the time of this recording, it's got 500 views. Honestly, I haven't seen that big of a spike in views on a single video since you guys figured out that I'm high school best friends with the cheese stick guy. I received plenty of positive feedback and great comments, which I so appreciate because that just lets me know that the content I'm making is truly the content that I want to keep putting out there. And thank you so much to everybody who just gave that video a view or liked it or commented or even subscribed. All of it means so much to me because as a small YouTuber, I'll take anything that I can get. Seeing any kind of support just makes my day. So you guys have no idea how excited I am because of that. Anyways, graduation. Firstly, I wanted to be a little bit transparent about what's been going on in college and what my life has been like because a lot has changed for me and it's been a while since I've just kind of talked openly about myself. So I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science at the University of Maryland. Also with a minor in Japanese. Now, I didn't always want to do computer science, and I had a bit of a journey throughout my early days in college figuring out what I did want to do. Does that sound right? I feel like it doesn't sound right. Anyways, if you guys didn't already know, I started this channel in 2020, a few weeks after I got let go from high school due to COVID. Of course, at the time, I thought maybe I'd be going back, but I spent the rest of my senior year in high school doing online virtual stuff until I graduated. The next few months, I really tried my best to grind out content because this is something I truly wanted to keep going. And then it came time for college. Now, this was a big step because I'd be moving to a new state without most of my family and friends around and going to a brand new school that didn't even accept me for my intended major. That's right, I originally wanted to do aerospace engineering, which is weird because the thought of that now is fucking crazy. So I came into college undecided, looking for a new major to try because I wasn't going back to engineering. That sounded like hell. Obviously, nobody prepared me for the fact that I'd still be spending my whole first year in college doing online classes in a dorm by myself without anything open to the public. And being away from most of my family and friends for long periods of time and having to drive like 3 hours just to go see any of them made it very discouraging. I really had no social connection and I couldn't really focus on classes because online classes just suck. I was also out of contact with my therapist and I had a string of mental health issues on top of generally just not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. I tried plenty of different majors and nothing really stuck and I really felt discouraged by the end of my first year. In fact, there were times where I thought that college wasn't even for me, but I remember specifically having a several hour-long talk with my mom about everything. Of course, she was shocked, because in high school I was always an AB student, and here I was barely getting along with any of my classes in college, and also just hating them. But I was honest and open about everything, and she really steered me on the right course. She didn't deny any possibilities of what was to happen in the future, but she gave me hope. So I took that and tried to have the craziest comeback year I could have in a sophomore year in college. I decided to do computer science on a whim, and it stuck. I also was able to finally have roommates that I was friends with and I was really excited to room with. And I also met some friends in my major, which was great. While I was mainly just doing the preliminary coursework and some gen ed coursework, I ended up doing really well in my sophomore year and I made Dean's List both semesters. I also came to a realization that I missed learning Japanese throughout middle school and high school, and I decided to start doing it in college as a minor. I took a Japanese placement test at the end of my sophomore year and was able to place out of all of the preliminary coursework for that minor. Needless to say, it was a great turnaround, but it didn't come without issues. Obviously, I care a lot about YouTube, and I love doing it. I've talked about this before, and I genuinely think it's my best outlet for my creativity. It's a hobby that I always want to keep up, but it's something that's very taxing and demanding. My edits take hours at a time, and I often don't have full days to do them, or my eyes will genuinely hurt from staring at a screen for that long. Also, being a small YouTuber was a discouraging endeavor. Sometimes I'd spend hours on a video that I really cared about and I uploaded it and it ended up being one of my worst performing videos. Other times I'd gain some traction thinking that things are going well and I upload another video and it would go back to performing poorly. So that, on top of the grueling effort it takes just to make a quality video, and on top of all of the effort I had to put into college just to stay steady, it was hard to maintain all of that. So I went dark on YouTube for a while. I wouldn't upload for months at a time, sometimes years apart. I never fully found a perfect stride where I could mix college and YouTube, because especially as a STEM major, college was just too damn demanding, and I wasn't about to turn around then. My junior and senior year of college came with plenty of challenges. Really hard courses that only got worse as they went along, tons of work, hours spent studying. It was a grueling experience. Nothing could have prepared me for the level of difficulty that college truly bring. There were days where I didn't sleep. There were days that I had so much caffeine in me that if I had one more cup of coffee, I'd probably be on my way to a hospital. I've had multiple full breakdowns. Needless to say, I was almost constantly stressed. But the one thing I can say I'm proud of myself for is that I never gave up. I fell short many a times, had plenty of failures, but I always overcame them. I took a long road to get here, 5 years to get a 4-year degree. I didn't stop fighting, and I'm not gonna stop now. So what's my next step? Career. This is where things get weird, because the job application process can be lengthy. I picked a very selective major, and there's tons of companies out there to hire, but they're looking for the best of the best, and there's tons of applicants. I've already started sending out applications, and I can guarantee you that about 90% of them are not even going to get back to me. That's just the lay of the land, and it could take a few months before I find something. It also could just be a few weeks. In the interim, I mainly want to focus on improving my resume as I go along with these applications. But I also want to make an effort to keep this as a consistent hobby of mine. Like I said earlier, this is my best creative outlet, and my creativity is the thing I pride myself the most on. So videos definitely aren't going to stop here, and you're going to see plenty more to come. However, I obviously can't do this for a living, at least anytime soon. I'm not even close to being eligible for monetization, and even when that starts, it's not going to be money that I can live off of. Things could take a turn for the best unexpectedly, and that would be amazing. Truly would be a dream come true. But for now, I've got to set myself up for success, and that means applying to some real-world jobs and seeing what happens. When I land a job, I'm going to do everything I can to balance work life along with this hobby and make both work to the best of my ability. Obviously, there may be times where I fall short and things will be inconsistent, especially when I first land a job and I'm getting acclimated, but I'm not planning on stopping. One other thing to note, something that I've always talked about in videos like these, is streaming. Streaming is obviously huge now, probably a bigger platform than YouTube itself. With this extra time on my hands while I'm waiting to hear back from applications, I thought there's no better time for me to start figuring out how I want to stream, what I want to do, and all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously with this move coming up and me having to improve my setup, this might still take a little bit, but I hopefully can start streaming sometime by the end of the summer at the latest. Obviously when that happens, I'll update you guys, and I also plan on doing a bunch of updates on my TikTok, so make sure to go follow that for frequent updates and other random bits and clips. I want to do everything I can to have you guys show out for my first stream, so I'm going to be posting about it a bunch when it happens, so you'll definitely hear from me. There are plenty more college stories that I have to tell. Like that time I stayed up for 33 hours straight for a final in one of my toughest classes on my birthday, which was also my last one. I had to travel back home the same day, or my first ever college bar experience, and countless other stories that I have just deep in the bank here. I'd love to go into detail about all of them, but I'm kind of thinking about maybe making a couple videos out of them to switch up some of my content. If that sounds cool to you guys, let me know in the comments. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for listening to what I had to say, especially if you stayed all the way to the end, which if you did, make sure to comment, Pedro painted my left testicle and sold it to the village idiot. If I don't see that comment anywhere, I'm coming for all of you. That's all I have, so expect my normal content in the next video, which should come out sometime soon, and until then, peace.